Did you know that more than 50 million Americans suffer from some type of allergy each year? That's about 1 in 6 people. So if you don't have an allergy yourself, chances are you know someone who does. Welcome back to Beyond the Sneeze. I'm Selena, and in today's episode, we're exploring the most common allergies, from foods to the environment and how they shape daily life. Let's start with the foods most likely to cause reactions. The FDA calls them the Big Nine because they account for almost all food-related allergic reactions. These are milk, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, soy, wheat, fish, shellfish, and sesame. Now, let's take a closer look and see what makes them unique. Milk tops the list, especially for kids. A lot of children outgrow it by the time they're in kindergarten, but not all do. What I think is really fascinating is how milk allergies connect to human history. Scientists actually studied ancient milk pots and discovered dried milk residue inside. That's how they were able to figure out people were drinking milk thousands of years ago, even though most of them couldn't digest it. Back then, all humans became lactose intolerant after childhood, but eventually a mutation popped up called lactase persistence, which let some adults keep drinking milk without getting sick. That mutation spread quickly because it gave people extra nutrition, and today about 35% of the world can drink milk as adults. The rest, still lactose intolerant. Eggs are another big one, especially in children. Most people are actually allergic to the proteins in the whites, not the yolk. Eggs can be tricky to avoid since they hide in so many foods, from baked goods to noodles. But here's the upside. A lot of kids do outgrow it. Peanut allergies are probably the most well known. They're one of the top causes of anaphylaxis in kids, which is why some schools are peanut-free. What's interesting is how peanut allergies are much more common in the US and UK compared to countries like China, where peanuts are a normal part of the diet. That difference may come down to early exposure. Tree nuts include almonds, cashews, walnuts, pistachios, and more. Being allergic to one doesn't always mean you're allergic to all of them, but doctors usually recommend avoiding every type because cross-contact is so common. Soy is sneaky. It sneaks up on everything from processed snacks to sauces and even protein powders. That makes it one of the tougher allergies to manage. This one causes a lot of confusion. A wheat allergy is different from celiac disease, which is an autoimmune reaction to gluten. And then there's gluten intolerance, which can cause stomach issues but isn't life-threatening. So not every gluten-free label is really about an allergy. Unlike milk or eggs, fish allergies often start in adulthood. And it's not just eating fish that's the issue. Sometimes even touching it or breathing in steam while it's cooking can cause a reaction. Shellfish allergies are the most common food allergy in adults. Shrimp, crab, lobsters, and more can cause reactions to be intense, and sometimes just the smell of shellfish cooking can set someone off. That's because of a protein called tropomyosin. If you're allergic to one type of shellfish, you're usually allergic to all of them, and unlike milk or egg allergies, this one never goes away. And finally is sesame. It is actually the newest member of the Big Nine, being officially added in 2023. The challenge with sesame is how hidden it can be. It's in bread, hummus, sauces, and even some flavorings you'd never expect. So that's food, but allergies don't stop at the dinner table. For a lot of people, the world around them can be just as triggering. Environmental allergies are super common, and they're caused by things most of us deal with every day. Seasonal allergies or hay fever usually hit in the spring and fall. They bring sneezing, itchy eyes, and runny noses. What's happening is your immune system mistakes harmless pollen for a dangerous invader. And here's a weird fact. The more you react to pollen over time, the more sensitive your body can become. That's called the priming effect, which explains why some people say their seasonal allergies get worse as they get older. These tiny bugs live in bedding and carpets. You can't see them, but for people with allergies, they can be a huge trigger indoors. This next one surprises people. It's not actually the fur that causes allergies, it's proteins in animal saliva, skin, and urine. The fur just carries the proteins around. That's why so-called hypoallergenic pets aren't totally allergy-proof. Mold grows in damp areas like basements or bathrooms, and it spreads through spores in the air. These spores can trigger allergic reactions or even asthma attacks. Now, whether it's food or the environment, the way our bodies react can look pretty similar. Allergies can show up in a lot of ways. Mild reactions look like sneezing, itchy eyes, hives, or stomach issues. But sometimes reactions can turn severe. That's called anaphylaxis. It causes trouble breathing and a sudden drop in blood pressure. And the scary part, it can happen within minutes, so someone might be fine one second and need an EpiPen the next. Because of how quickly allergies can hit, figuring out what's really causing them is super important. Doctors usually test in two main ways. A skin test, where small amounts of allergens are pricked into the skin to see if there's a reaction, or a blood test, which looks for allergy-related antibodies. Once you know what you're allergic to, the next step is figuring out how to manage it. Managing allergies usually means a mix of prevention and treatment. First is avoidance, reading food labels, asking questions at restaurants, or making changes in your environment. Then there are medications, antihistamines for sneezing, nasal sprays for pollen, or carrying an EpiPen if you're at risk for anaphylaxis. And now there's something new called oral immunotherapy. It's where doctors expose you to tiny amounts of an allergen like peanuts over time to build up tolerance. It's not a cure, but it can make reactions less severe. So what's the big takeaway here? Allergies are everywhere from food to pets to pollen. They impact millions of people, often in ways that aren't obvious until you really start looking. Now I want to hear from you. What's the weirdest allergy you've ever heard of? Or do you have one yourself? Send me your story and I might feature it in a future episode. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Sneeze. Next time, we'll dive into the weirder and unheard of allergies out there. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay allergy aware.